Hello, it's Senior Runner here again, part of Jon S Sports Channel where we do everything Championship, League One and running as we're doing now. Now I've been meeting up with several people, runners and professionals alike, including trainers. So this time guys, it's not just my experience and it's not just my considerations. This time it's a feedback that I've got from all these professionals and runners about people who are mainly starting running, but it's also about an awful lot of mainstay runners who've been running quite a while, but doing one or all of these four things completely wrongly. And it's bugging it's bugging some of them quite a lot, to be honest. So what are the things I'm talking about? So what things could lead to a bad training experience? Well, obviously, as you get older, injuries can be quite debilitating, and sometimes they can stop you running forever. So we're trying not to harm the body because, as a rule, it's actually quite good for you when you're getting older. It slows down the loss of muscle mass, and it helps you look and feel a lot more younger. So let's see how we can do this. Well, first thing that we need to get from training, what is it? It's technique. I've said this several times and they all agree that the technique is absolutely amazing because it stops you harming your body. For instance, with an overstride. An overstride is a perfect example. If you overstride, you've got the wrong technique, you probably haven't set off toe off with a parallel line, and if you have, you've immediately stretched your front leg out too far and you've landed far too far ahead of yourself with the toe down, and that means that your knee is going to get a jolt and your hip's going to get an extra jolt, and you're going to slow yourself down every time you put your foot down. And so how do we actually get this technique? Well, there's lots of videos about toe off and toe down, and I'm not going to go into that. Go and have a look at them on YouTube. There's hundreds, if not thousands of them. But what we'll say is flexibility. Flexibility does help. And it helps quite a way because if you're nice and flexible, you can actually gain that posture a little easier. And I think it's more like the mental attitude that you've got. If you're nice and flexible, you feel better. You feel like, yeah, I can do that. I can get that parallel line. I can lift that knee a little bit extra. And it's like that, lifting the knee. You need to be flexible to really keep lifting it that high and angle the calf and the thigh at the same angle. And it's really not as easy as you think. You have to have the technique. You have to be flexible. But I was at a half marathon at the weekend, and I saw people doing press ups. Now, okay, it is nice to have a little bit of arm strength because keeping that swing keeps you confident that you can keep the pace up and keep the cadence up at that level. But overdoing it, yes. He was also strengthening the legs, but he's strengthening the right muscles in the wrong way. And in fact, one person said he's strengthening the wrong muscles in the wrong way. So what's wrong? Well, he's stationary. So the first thing is, don't do flexibility exercises stationary. Everybody's telling me, I don't know if you do it, John, but for God's sake, will you stop doing stationary exercise? I see people, these people are telling me, we see people standing before the race, and they're doing standing exercise, standing still exercises like lunges on the spot. Just do a lunge back. Do you see that in the gym? No, you don't. You see them doing a lunge, step forward, a lunge, step forward. They're trying to integrate it with movement, and movement that is stereotypically what you would be doing if you were walking, jogging, or running. Because it's not just strengthening the actual flexing the actual muscle, it's flexing it at the same time as the muscles and the joints around it would be moving if you were moving, because otherwise you're not gaining as much as what you could be gaining from that exercise. So you're wasting a lot of effort. So try and do it. If you're going to do flexibility exercise, especially before a race, please, you look, I'm sure you look as if you're really attempting it really well, but it's not doing you very much good. So try and do these exercises moving, just even if it's just a lunge and a step forward, a lunge and a step forward, please keep moving. Number 2 is strength training. Now, strength training keeps coming on. People keep saying, yeah, we do strength. And a couple of my people I know, I'll just say, they do half strength training and half weightlifting. Now, I'm sorry, but weightlifting is volumatic. And a couple of people on the professional side, but they're not improving the right muscles in the right way. They're increasing the volume of the wrong muscles. These muscles are very good at giving you instant energy. 5 seconds, bang, and you've used all the energy. That's why they do it for weightlifting. They can lift immense amounts of weight instantly, because these muscles that they're improving are instant release muscles, huge volume of energy, huge volume of muscle volume, which is why they look all muscular. And I've never seen a bodybuilder or weightlifter finish a marathon first, or in the first 10 even. So a lot of them saying, please tell them, weightlifting is not the same as strength training. I've already done a video on that. I'm not going to put that one down as a must not. I'm hoping people start to realise that strength training is not weightlifting. We're talking strength training, which is what we should be doing. So what should we be doing? Our cores, glutes, quads, hamstrings, calves. Remember that. Core, glutes, quads, hamstrings, calves. And the thing I want you to look at, and I'm going to put it the right way around, is number 2 is, when you're on, you're doing this, and perhaps you're exercising your quads or your calves, and obviously your calves just start feeling a bit tight. When they feel really rock hard, you think, wow, that hurts. That's starting to hurt. But you think, I can just do another one. I've done it. I've done it. Trust me, I've done it. I can just do another one. And then as soon as you get off the machine, Jesus, what have I done? And you're putting yourself at higher risk of an instant injury. And like I said, I'm getting old. That injury could be quite debilitating, and it could be quite harmful. And I've seen people hurt themselves in that situation, and they've never been able to run again. Ever. So do be very careful. As you get older, it's exponentially worse. So getting an injury. So it's more harmful to you, and it's more likely to take you out for a lot longer, or even ever. So don't overstrain yourself. If you feel it going, no, stop it completely. Get off it and think, right, okay, where's the car? Well, or do I need somebody to drive me back? Don't overstrain it. Number 3 is increasing the volume. We need to increase our volume, and a lot of people try and just nudge it forward ever so slightly on a weekly or a monthly basis. I tend to try and do it on a monthly basis if I can, just edge it forward a bit. But on a weekly basis, you shouldn't be trying to increase it any more than 10%, because if you're doing it more than that, you're sort of pushing it to a point where your body's not used to it, and it's going to fight back, and it's going to start hurting. I have seen people sort of get to sort of 12, 13, possibly 14, 15%, but you have to be really confident that you look, we've done something like that before, and then 15% one week, 10% the next, and it worked fine. But the main thing is for number 3, if it hurts or you start getting aches and pains, again, you stop. Now, this could be when you're running, right? So this could be you're running. I spoke to somebody a few months ago now, 3 or 4 months ago, and he said, I did just that. He says, I did just that. The last week, he said, I came out and I felt really good, but I suddenly started getting something hurting on the, I think it was this calf as well, calf or down the back of his Achilles. And he says, as soon as it hurt, I thought, I don't want to, I can't. It was too near a race, so it said no. I've got to stop because if I get hurt now, I'm out of the race, and I can't afford it. Because he really wanted to do it. And he says I was only 1.5 miles away from home. I'd only got 1.5 miles away from the house. So he sat and he phoned up his wife and he says, I phoned her up. She picked me up, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to start thinking, and he could have easily turned around and said, I've only got 1.5 miles, I'll just jog back. But if that then suddenly got worse, it had got quite bad over 1.5 miles, enough for him to think, I've got to stop. And if it's got that bad, you've got to think, I need to stop. Not, I can get round the corner. I can just do that 1.5 miles back, can't I? If it starts getting worse, I'll walk. And I've seen people think I can walk and then get halfway back and they're actually stopped. I saw one at the end of the road the other day. No kidding. He had his hand on the lamppost and he said, I can't do it. I can't go anymore. I was walking back, but I just can't do it. So I've seen it. You really are risking it, and it's not a good idea. So that's number 3. Number 4 is this old chestnut that comes back, and people say, one particular person who I met at the half marathon, this 80-20 rule, they've really got to understand this 80-20 rule. They really have. Zone 2 running for 80% is absolutely critical. It just, especially for older people, he says, it's really, really important for older people. He says, people like us need to understand that when you get older, in order to slow down that muscle mass loss, we need to be doing a hell of a lot of zone 2 running, just keeping the muscles at a pace that the body is thinking, okay, I still need them. We're keeping them. Yeah, we can. And there's something else he said. He said, look, the other thing they don't do with this is they don't take enough protein. People don't realise that they need a hell of a lot more protein when they get into older age. So if you're running and you're getting past 40, 45 and onto your 50s and 60s, think about it. You should be taking in a lot more protein because your body's, the muscles are now wanting to, as soon as you get past 40, roughly 40 I believe it is, your muscle mass starts to deplete if you don't use them properly. So don't use it or lose it is the basic phrase. But in order to keep it, and in order not to lose it, your body needs to replenish and repair it, which means you're going to need proteins to repair your muscle damage. Which means, guess what? You need a lot more protein when you get older to fix what is going wrong, because it's starting to go wrong a lot more because you're getting older. And this is the explanation I got. So I'm just passing it on to you. So as you go into the 80-20 rule, 80% of your training should be zone 2, 20% should be other. Try not to make it just 80% zone 2 and 20% sort of belting it out at heart rate zone 5. That extra 20% needs to be split nicely between things like hill training, sprints, just general tempo runs and normal heart rate zone 3 runs occasionally. But it needs to be varied in the 20%, and the 80% needs to be nice, fixed zone 2 running. Now, the thing that we need to get across with number 4 is, and this is a big bugbear from nearly all of the people I spoke to, for God's sake, stop running out at the same pace. They're doing 100%. People seem to be going out and they're doing 100% of their running at just below their maximum, and they'll keep the same pace. Yeah, but I'm sure I'm getting better. I'm sure I'm getting. You'll not get better as quick just belting it out at a sort of zone 3, low zone 4, which most people seem to just do. Belt out at a sort of good pace, but always 100% of the time. So for God's sake, stop doing this same thing, same run, same scenery, same slog, same heart rate zone, same effort. It's not doing you as much good as it would if you were giving yourself a little bit of a change and a little bit of giving your body something to challenge it with. Because I would say one of the other vids, variety is the spice of life. And that's it. We need to make sure the body gets lots of variety. So now, flexibility exercises when you're moving. Don't overstrain when you're in the gym. Make sure you stop as soon as you get something that feels like it's just starting to tweak. If you're out running and something aches or you start feeling a bit dizzy, stop and phone somebody to pick you up if need be. Don't try to turn around and walk back unless you're absolutely 110% certain you can. And then zone 2 running 80% of the time. Stop doing this 100% slog at the same speed and the same effort. That's mine and several other people's view, and I hope you take heed. Thank you and goodbye.